Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. My name is Gregory Scott. It's really wonderful to be with you as usual. I just wanted to make a quick video to give you some information about the differences between the rising sign in astrology, the sun sign, and also the moon sign. I think these are the three really most famous things that if you look up your natal chart online, for instance, you put in your place of birth, your time of birth, your date of birth, you'll get these three things as the main kind of highlights: sun sign, rising sign, and moon sign. So what do they actually mean? Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, the rising sign is really who you are as a person without thinking about it. So if something happens, you're under pressure and you don't have an opportunity to think, you're going to react exactly the same way as that rising sign will. So for instance, if you're a Taurus rising sign and something happens in your work and suddenly you have to, I don't know, someone says, oh, you know, there are redundancies that are happening, will we have our jobs, stuff like that. Your reaction as a Taurus will be to safeguard your finances, your financial place in the world, your assets, your belongings, your bank account. That's going to be your gut reaction to look after that. A Scorpio, for instance, rising sign, in that situation would look after the other people around them or see how their family was going to be affected. So it's the gut instinct, the thing that you automatically react. Okay, so the next thing is the sun sign, and the sun sign is really what you're aspiring to be. That's what you're aiming for. So let's keep going with that example. You're a rising sign Taurus and your sun sign is, let's say, Pisces. So it's a scale that you move on. So you've got the rising sign here, you've got the sun sign here. Everyone is going to be at a different place on that scale. Let's say this person with the Taurus rising is over here, okay? So they're going to have all the Taurus qualities. They're going to be focused on physical belongings and money and houses and cars and all of that stuff, but they want to get to that Pisces level, Pisces sun. What that means is a Pisces sun is going to be very spiritual, it's going to be very sensitive, it's going to be very emotional, there will be a lot of kind of psychic ability, and there's also going to be a real element of self-sacrifice and saying, I'm not so important, how can I help other people? If you think about the time of year when Pisces actually occurs, it's, you know, in the northern hemisphere, it's in the dead of winter. It's when the food levels are at their lowest, when you have to really stay at home and really look within. Okay, so that Taurus will have to go from being super materialistic to being really spiritual and really thinking about other people and kind of the unseen realities of life. Now, if a person is, rising is here, sun is there, if a person is here, they're going to be still very materialistic and still very identified with the Taurus. But if a person who's on their spiritual path and is over here in the Pisces side is going to come across really Piscean, a total Pisces. So it varies for everybody. Everyone's going to be at a different place on that scale. So if you are reading your horoscope in a newspaper, don't just read your sun sign, also read the other entry for your rising sign, because both of those are going to apply. So that person, if for instance, that same example, if they open a newspaper and they see the horoscope section, Mystic Meg or whatever, and they look at that, then look up the Taurus and the Pisces, because both of those will apply to some extent. Okay. Now, the moon sign is very much about the soul and what you're really, where you've come from. So, I mean, you know, these are all different variations of a similar theme, and you are all of these things, but there's just a different kind of focus on it. So the moon sign is really the soul energy. So this is what you're very sensitive to, what is innately you, which you feel comes most naturally, which comes most easily, and what you have the greatest aptitude for. So in that example that I've said, we've got Taurus rising, we've got Pisces sun, and let's say we've got a Sagittarius moon. That person will feel that on a soul level, they're really here to explore and to really teach other people and to really not focus on one thing too much, but have a variety of experiences. So you can see how this kind of triangle now creates quite a complex personality, and how those three things taken together can give you quite a lot of information about who you are. The moon is also very much about what you're sensitive to. So if someone is a Sagittarius moon, they're going to be sensitive to things like travel and higher learning and education, and they're going to be really attuned to that sort of thing and have a real knack and aptitude for it. So they'll be academic because they'll be in sync with that kind of learning energy, and they'll probably, well, often go to university because they have a knack for it and they find it easy to learn and to expand their mind. So that's how that works. Oh, an interesting kind of thing that I just want to mention here. I briefly studied Kabbalistic astrology, which is a different kind of school of astrology, and they have a kind of formula that they think is very accurate, but which I disagree with. And what they say is that the sun sign is who you really are, and the rising sign is that part of you that resolves the problems of the sun sign. And I've tried this out. I mean, I've studied different schools of astrology, but I've really found that's not very accurate. In my example that I've given, so the Taurus rising, the sun Pisces, so the Pisces problems, for instance, if we're looking at this Kabbalistic side of things, the Pisces problems could often be a lack of stability or a tendency to overindulge emotionally. And then the resolution to that problem would be the Taurian groundedness and the focus on the everyday mundane things. But I've really, in my experience, I've found that's not how it works. The reality of who you are, without thinking, what you react like is the rising sign, and then what you aspire to and what you want to become is the sun sign. And whoever believes in Kabbalistic astrology, you will definitely disagree with me, but my experience has been that way of looking at it is much more accurate in terms of the readings I've done for people and the people I've spoken to. Okay, so I just want to give you some examples now of what this would look like in terms of personalities. Let's say we've got a Pisces rising sign, we've got a Virgo sun, and we've got a Scorpio moon. This person would automatically be quite passive. It would be quite giving and accepting of other people, but it would want to be really effective on a practical level, be really discerning, and be a little bit harsher than a Pisces would want to be. And the moon, the Scorpio moon, would inform that by being really emotionally quite harsh. So this person would be, come Bob, come here. It would be, sorry, Bob is just chasing his own tail for some reason. So this person would be right now very forgiving and very loving towards people and very unjudgmental. And what that person would want to get to is to have a little bit more bite to them. So, okay, good boy. So whether that's right or wrong, regardless of whether it's right or wrong, that's what that person wants to achieve on a soul level. Okay, the next example is Sagittarius rising, Gemini sun, and Taurus moon. Okay, Sagittarius rising, a natural explorer, someone who wants to explore the world. Gemini sun is someone who wants to take that knowledge and then communicate it to other people. And then the Taurus moon is to achieve something with it financially. So not just use that information for the altruism and the greater good of the planet, but to actually earn some money with that. So there'll be a little bit of self-interest involved in that. Okay, next example. Leo rising, Cancer sun, and Aquarius moon. This is someone who's naturally quite self-centered and naturally quite focused on themselves and what they can bring to the world and what they can achieve. Okay, what they would like to do is create a family and learn how to be less selfless, and the Aquarius moon would say that they have a natural ability to teach other people, and especially family members. So I think you get the gist of how those energies combine to really create quite a complex personality. And this is just looking at three things. You know, we're looking at rising, sun, and moon. We're looking at three aspects of a person there. When you look at all the other planets that come into play, so we've got Mercury and Mars and Neptune and Jupiter and all of those things, and the angles and how those interact, you can see how astrology really paints a very clear picture of what you've kind of charted for yourself in this lifetime, how you've designed the blueprint of your life, what your assets are going to be, what your challenges are going to be, what you want to overcome, and what you experience. And that's what makes it such a wonderful and really the king of all divination tools, because it gives you the most in-depth and most accurate view of the human soul. And not only that, but the human soul on planet Earth and what that means for that soul. So it's really a wonderful tool. If you'd like to have a private reading with me, please visit my website. It's gregoryscott.co.uk. You can also send me an email. The address is readings@gregoryscott.co.uk, facebook.com/gregoryscott444. And please remember to subscribe to my channel so you can find more videos and updates about astrology and tarot and numerology. And I will be with you soon.